Everything is green in the forest, mid-July 2011. The rain filled the pools in the Bronca, the squirrels eat the pine cones, millions of weird bugs build their cities in the forest. After the planting is done, I have time to think about life here. I think about the details, such as how we can use less matches or none at all, and the big picture, like how water flows across the land. There is always something going on, even if it's just a dog, like this one, Hippie, who got injured on his face somehow. We continue to clean up spaces and equipment for guests, but there are no guests right now. All the work to be done makes life a little frustrating, but overall things are good. Some cows got into the land where old fence posts rotted away, so we chased them off. They were only on the land a few hours, but they found some gardens and crushed the land under their hooves and ate some of the growing plants. We spent a couple of days repairing fences. We're harvesting the second round of peaches. They're a different kind. Maria plans to make some peach marmalade. We're also harvesting cauliflower. We can use the leaves of the cauliflower plant to make kimchi. Most plants in the gardens are not yet ready to harvest, but nature can provide. The prolific native grapes don't produce very much fruit, but we can brine the leaves to make dolmades. We should be able to store enough leaves to use them all year long. Marie made some flatbread and Jamaica tea. It's nearly the end of the mango season, but you can still buy 3 kilos of mangoes for 20 pesos. That's over 6 pounds for under $2. The most exciting food of the year is mushrooms, and in July they all show up, so we begin to eat them. This year I am documenting every fungus I can find. There are so many kinds. I started a spreadsheet to track over 200 species. The most popular edible mushroom in July is the Amanita caesarea. Tasty. Some fungi are just weird, like an orange fungus which infects pine cones and causes them to get really big. There are many of them this year and they look like some kind of strange forest decoration. I'm very pleased with an apparent success near the Bliss Cabana. We infected 2 oak stumps with oyster mushrooms and shiitake. The stump which is resprouting many branches has no mushrooms yet, but the one with few branches has many mushrooms. It might be possible to keep an oak tree in the right state of damage so that it produces wood at a level balanced with the mushrooms decomposing it. With some experimentation, we could produce these valuable mushrooms for a few months each year. The oak logs that we put in the ravine have not done what was expected. We thought they would produce oyster and shiitake mushrooms, but instead I find them covered in an odd black fungus. It's kind of jelly-like and surprising. We'll have to identify it and see if it has any use. Walking to town, I found an amazing fallen Joshua tree. The wood is very porous and has been taken over by 2 types of mushrooms. The white ones might be oyster mushrooms or some variant. If they are, then we'll try to transfer them to the bosque. The other mushroom is yellow and fuzzy, and I have no idea what it is. In August, there'll be many more types of mushrooms to enjoy. I shot over 800 pictures of the racers in the Aronga Triathlon. There was a mountain biking, kayaking in Lake Pátzcuaro, and running. They biked past the gate of the bosque, and I put up a big sign so for the next race they'll know where the bosque village is. The race was run by Race Extreme as part of the Tour de Aventura 2011. I shoot these pictures both as a service to the participants, but also to help promote the Aronga area for these kinds of events. As the days get shorter, we're beginning to lend out movies and books. We might as well share the knowledge resources we have, as well as support literacy, art, and culture. Most of my how-to books are in English, but some can be useful anyway. Some of them have step-by-step instructions with pictures. Others are filled with designs we can borrow from cultures all over the world. Beto benefited from these books when he learned to carve from one of them. He learned over a couple years and eventually carved our totem pole, which is our largest piece of art. We also look up things for people on the internet and are helping them get their own internet connection in town. I photographed a house which is under construction for some expats in Pátzcuaro. A friend of mine, Fernando at GM Construction, builds the houses. He worked in the States for years, so he speaks English and works with a lot of local gringos as they try and build their dream homes. I don't get out of the bosque very much, but I did manage to get out to a party and chatted with some expats and locals. I was impressed with how many hummingbirds there were at the feeders. For Europeans, Visiting the bosque is often the first time that they've seen these strange birds. Our internet connection still isn't working, so I apologize for my lack of response to people emailing. That's everything I've got for this week.